I've got a major problem.
Oh no, Adam.
I'm going to be dead fucking broke this year.
Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
Dead broke.
All your money's going away. Going bye-bye.
All completely gone. So first of all, obviously we've talked about it. I'm going on a massive vacation, so that's going to be a shit ton of money. Then we've got Switch 2, which is going to drop presumably early summer, right? So that's going to be a couple $100 right there, plus software. But the real doozy, the one that's going to get me like every week this summer, is the absolute metric shit ton of incredible movies that are coming out this year. Have you seen the amount of amazing movies that are coming out this summer?
No.
I'm gonna read some of these off. First of all,
right, I'm ready.
Captain America, which by the time people are watching this, it's already out. That's like a really big deal. Here's some of the other ones that are gonna get me. Jurassic World Rebirth, Fantastic Four, Superman, Zootopia 2.
Zootopia 2? Wow.
Ballerina, which is the spin-off of John Wick.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning.
Ooh.
Tron Ares. The new goddamn Tron movie's coming out. F1 with Brad Pitt, which is actually directed by Joseph Kosinski, who did the last Tron movie and did Top Gun, the new Top Gun movie. So that's going to be incredibly good. And then this one I'm really excited about. It's probably not a huge smash for a lot of people, but Karate Kid Legends. I'm going to be at the movie theater every weekend. It's going to be too much, Antonio.
Is that Jackie Chan? The Jackie Chan kind of.
It's got Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio.
Shut up.
It's both of them.
You're lying to me right now.
I'm not lying. It's called Karate Kid Legends, and it releases. Oh God, I don't have the release date here, but yeah, it's this summer. So it's the follow-up. It's what's coming after Cobra Kai, because that's wrapping up here really shortly. And then this summer, there's already going to be a new Karate Kid installment that's got Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan.
Wow. What a summer blockbuster smorgasbord.
I'm a guy that and then 28 years later, I don't know if I need to go see it, but that's like a big one, right? And
yeah,
Minecraft
I'm very
movie.
looking forward to that. Yeah.
Oh God, man. I'm just going to be at the theater I'm going to be so full of butter and popcorn. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You got to get that movie pass if you have it. The AMC one, I dip into it every once in a while. We did it last summer. Because when we know you're going to go to the movies like 3-4 times in like a couple months, it's worth it when you do the math. I love doing the Dolby or IMAX or whatever. So yeah, absolutely. It looks like summer's going to be pretty banging.
Summer's going to be absolutely, it's going to be such a good year. This is going to be, besides the fact that, everything's burning down around us and Nazis are taking over, other than the Nazis.
Yeah.
You got to balance the good with the bad, Nazis, Ralph Macchio. Let's take this moment to thank all of our members of Megadad's Boost. If you enjoy this show and all the other content that we make here at Megadads, you can become a supporter by going to patreon.com/Megadads. And for only $1 a month, you can become a member of Megadad's Boost. And we've got a great event happening over at Megadad's Boost for the month of March. Every single weekday of the month, I'm dropping an all-new Pokemon art card. It's Pokemon month here at Megadads. So make sure you head over to patreon.com/Megadads every single day to see which new Pokemon gets dropped. All right, now let's thank our Boost members for the month of March 2025. Eric Wood, Spokes, Emily Smith, Brent, John DeFrancesco, Brendan Myers, Brandon Wilson, The Snack Network, Dave Soto, Jesse Waldack, Timothy Alf, Andy Penzick, Luke Porter, David Snyder, the Bafo Yucks Dudes, Justin Masson, and the Nintendo Dads Podcast. And let's not forget the folks hanging out at the free tier, Solara Clark, the Coconut Wizard, Avi Cohen, One Track Gamers, John Layola, Michael Kwan, Sonny Megatron, Nima, Petey McD, Mike Salvino, and Brian Scott. We appreciate everyone who contributes to the Megadads Boost community. Don't forget to check back every single day to see the all-new Pokemon drop. And if you want to be a member of Megadads Boost, all you gotta do is go to patreon.com/Megadads. Only $1 a month. $1. With as expensive as everything is these days, $1 is the best value you can get. That's like maybe an ounce of gasoline these days, or half of an eggshell. It's just damn cheap. It's time for the segment I like to call Parent of the Month. Every month we bring a story of just incredible parenting prowess, and we have a discussion about our views on what happened with a story. Today's Parent of the Month, this month's Parent of the Month, is Leah Garcia. Leah Garcia is famous because she waxed her young daughter's unibrow in a TikTok video and was called a bad mom for doing so. Leah Garcia said that she herself was bullied in school when she was young for her unibrow, and she wanted to spare her daughters the same kind of emotional pain. She said, as a child, I had very thick and dark eyebrows, and I'd shave between, the little unibrow thing behind her parents' back, because her father didn't believe that children should have to worry about things like that. So Leah Garcia is trying to spare her kids the same kind of humiliation and emotional distress, taking care of her unibrow by waxing it on TikTok. She says, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and I have no regrets. So, Antonio, I put the question to you. Good parent, bad parent, what's your take on this?
So this is so hard because there's a couple different parenting styles. There's like the right way, the wrong way, the way that experts, quote unquote, and therapists and like people like that will tell you. Because my first instinct is kind of like that dad. It's like, you shouldn't worry about these things. Like, you're perfect the way you are, right? You should be okay with your body. But are we? Like, are we as adults or like when we were adolescent, like, okay with our body? No, we weren't. We were self-conscious. We knew, like, I'm 40 now, Adam, and I have acne still. I've always had like just spots and stuff like that. And it's like, I never grew out of it. Like everybody said that I would. I still have like blemishes and stuff that bother me. And to this day, we try to, clean up or patch up or cover up and do different stuff. So why would it be so bad to do a little like maintenance or whatever? It's kind of like, can you look at this unibrow situation like brushing your teeth and keeping your teeth white? It's like it's still your teeth, it's still your hair, but you are shaving it a little bit. You're trimming it. It's like, is a haircut bad? Like, no.
Right.
So why wouldn't this cleanup of the eyebrow be bad? Especially when she knows what she's talking about. She's like, kids can be brutal, like just a little shave and it's done. Now here's the problem. Now you're on TikTok doing it for content.
There you go. That's where I was waiting to see if you'd click.
Hot wax, or is this she did it with a little razor, or like
it says wax?
Is the girl crying as this is happening? Like, that's my favorite unibrow piece. How dare you? Like, I don't know, Adam. I don't know.
Yeah, this is exactly where I went, where I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. If you want to help your kids feel better about themselves, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, we talked a few months ago about like beauty products and things like that. There's extremes, right? But like you said, little wax, little cut, little touch up, whatever it takes to help your kids feel better, I'm all aboard. However, you did this on TikTok.
Yeah.
Which to me accentuates the thing that you think your kids should be, or you're hoping that they're not, embarrassed by. If you're worried about them being embarrassed or bullied or whatever, you're sticking their face on the internet to say, look what my kids got on their forehead.
Yeah.
And then you're taking care of it. That's where you've completely lost me.
You lost the plot. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do that shit in the bathroom with the door closed, I don't care. But once you start posting that for engagement, I think that's obviously we're on the outside looking in, whatever. But to me, I'm a guy that exploits my kids on YouTube all the time. I got nothing wrong with slapping my kids on the internet, but it's different, right? Like you're talking about protecting your kids and shielding your kids in 60 seconds or less on TikTok. Nope. It's a bridge too far for me.
So here's something I saw yesterday. It was a young, I want to say like early 20s mother, and was on TikTok and holding the baby and recording the video and all this. And then they're like, today we're going to see how many dirty diapers are left around my house. I bet I'm going to find like 15 diapers around the house. So then you see her walking around her house and she's picking them up. And she's explaining, she's like, I don't have a diaper genie. Like, a lot of people are asking me, why are there dirty diapers around your house? He's like, because I just I just don't think about it. Like, I do the diaper and I leave it right where we are in the moment, and I'm like, I'll pick it up later. So she finds 17 dirty diapers around the house and is recording herself picking them up. And when she picks up the diaper, you could see the moisture, like residue of under the diaper. So it's like, oh, on the floor, on the table, whatever. And she's picking them up. So this is like a big thing that kind of went around TikTok, and like this person got like scrutinized for having dirty diapers around. And she's like, oh, I'm neurodivergent. Like, you know, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like, this is totally normal for her. She makes content around it. And then she got in trouble. So it's like, they're looking into her, like, should she have kids, like, type thing. And it's like, it's hard because, you know, people are so addicted to content. They don't even realize how weird they're being making content off of something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure you should know that you shouldn't have dirty diapers around your house for like a day to, like, you know what I mean? Like, you should have a diaper genie. They're like, we'll buy you a diaper genie. The internet's like sending her like diaper genies, and it's just like, just throw it out. Throw it into a trash receptacle of some type, or outside. If there was a pile in her backyard, that would be better than around the house, you know? Like,
instead of buying this chick a diaper genie, she should have her phone taken away, because her first thought, her natural instinct was not, I'm going to go pick up these diapers because they're all over the place. It was, I'm going to record this video of me picking up that's so fucked up. People have completely intertwined their life with who they are on the internet. I mean, look who's fucking telling this story, right? I'm a guy who's built my entire
here's
brand.
The thing. What's the goal, right? The goal is to make a splash on social media, right? You're hoping that you're sharing something interesting that people want to tune into. And guess what? She blew up, and she's, famous, nefarious, like famous for the wrong reasons, but she won, Adam.
Yeah, right.
She won. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
People all around the world are talking about it. And it worked. The content was hot. Hot diaper content. It worked. So like, who are we to judge? Maybe she's a genius. I don't know, but you could tell that she didn't see anything wrong with it. Like, at the time, as she's doing it, she's like, oh, gotta, she's thinking like, oh, I'm just cleaning my house. But it's like, no, you have like massive dirty diapers everywhere. And I mean, the smell, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You think she was letting them stack up? Do you think like it was like,
like, that's the thing. Are you putting your sanitation like in the back burner because you want to make a 17 dirty diaper? Because they're like, how did you know there were like around 15 diapers before you started?
Right.
Like, that whole thing, there was like questions of like, who knows? I don't know.
Woo!
Parenting, Adam, it's hard. Do you clean up dirty diapers? Do you not?
You do.
Oh, okay.
You jettison the shit out of those, like Ripley and the Xenomorph. That thing goes out the airlock immediately.
become amazing.
The place to be for Megadads socials is the Megadads Discord, where you can engage with your favorite Megadads as well as other friends of the Megadads every single day in our stress-free and welcoming social space. When you're a member of our Discord, you will get alerts for all of our content drops, so you never have to miss a review, a podcast, or a hot take. Partake in our fun weekly Megadads holidays like Waluigi Wednesday and Final Fantasy Sunday. Megadads Discord is fun, free, and follows you wherever you go. Join us today and become part of the conversation. All right, let's talk about a game that you've been playing. I'm very excited to hear about this game because I know just about nothing about it. This is very much an Antonio-ass game. Every time we record, you bring like an Antonio-ass game where I'm like, what is this thing? But everybody in the Discord is talking about it. Tony made it the game of the month. It's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
A foe in plate armor has to be worn down.
Let's see it then. Attack properly now. A longer sequence.
Absolutely, Adam. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a story-driven action RPG set in 15th century medieval Europe. It's available on all the platforms, Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, PC, and it is awesome. This is a life sim game, like old school, very plotting, very deliberate in everything you do. You play as Henry, who's a bodyguard for a noble. And in the first game, you have all these adventures where you go rags to riches and you work your way up from a blacksmith's son who has nothing to very skilled and making an impact on the world around you. So I bounced off the first game because the combat wasn't very good. It was such a slow and plodding pace to everything that it's like, oh, you have to find a place to sleep. You have to find a way, to make money. You have to learn that you have nothing, so you have to fight with your fists for quite a while because you can't afford armor. You can't afford like a sword. Like this isn't just like a jump in. You have to earn everything. You have to learn to read because most people obviously do not know how to read and write at this time. So you are a peasant in every sense of the word. So after bouncing off the first game, the second game has a better pacing, a lot of improvements. I guess you'd call it quality of life all around. But the writing is phenomenal in this game. It is so... They immerse you in this world so deeply that it's so fresh in that way. They must have historians and people who really know about this time period working on the game, and they immerse you in the thought processes of the time. They immerse you in like, how was it when you were no cell phones, no technology? Like, how would crime and punishment work? If you steal something, the only way someone's gonna know is if you are seen later with that shirt that you stole, and someone's like, wait, that was mine, or I heard that somebody got that stolen from them, it must be you. And how do you prove who you are if you don't have identification? Let's say that you're robbed, like Henry has this reset where he's robbed and he has his nice clothes like taken. He has nothing to prove who he is. So you're like, hey, I'm here on an important mission. I'm supposed to be here. Let me in this castle. And they're like, yeah, like, prove it. Like, how would we know that
Right.
That's who you are? He's like, well, and then not only that, then he thinks back and he ends up saying, well, this one person saw me and I talked to him before that, so they can vouch for me. And they're like, guess what? He was killed the other day. And you're just like, fuck. So it's just like all of these intricacies of what life is like when you have to earn everything. You start with nothing. What I've done in the first like 5-6 hours of the game is try to make a little bit of money. Having nothing to my name, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what can I do? And I figured out that you can pick flowers and different herbs from the ground and in areas where people aren't going to get mad for you stealing them. So I'm like, okay, this has to be worth something, right? And then you go into the menus of the game and you figure out that as you pick flowers, your survival instinct is going up, and it lets you unlock like a optional perk where it's like, oh, you can sell herbs for double the money now. And I'm like, great, this is a way for me to make money. So then it's like, okay, I'm doing that and I'm selling herbs. It's like, wait, you should dry these herbs so they last longer. So you have to walk to a shed and it's like drying out the herbs, and it's like, great job. Now these apples and stuff that you had as well, this food will not spoil. And it's like, oh, don't forget to sleep or you get groggy. Don't forget to eat. Like, you have to wash yourself or people will say that you smell. Like, all of these little things, you're like managing every part of yourself, and it makes an impact. Like, people will try like say, hey, you want to buy something from me? Okay, that's fine. But like, don't come in here smelling like that. So he's like, go wash yourself first. Then you go and you go into like a trough, and it's like, you got as clean as you could possibly be in a trough. So my goal in the game right now is to buy soap, because if I am able to earn enough soap, I'm going to be able to go down to the river and wash my clothing. And then my stats of charisma will go up, and maybe I'll get that job at the blacksmith. And it's just like thinking about all these little things. And at first I was like, is this going to be overwhelmingly slow? Is it going to be overwhelmingly boring to do these things? And there is some of that. Like, I picked flowers for like an hour, but you feel like you earn something. And when you do things like blacksmithing or alchemy, you literally walk into the alchemy room and there's like a boiling pot, there's a shelf to put your herbs, there's a little like decanters, and you have to look and say, let me get out my book, read the recipe, and it'll say add 2 things of this, and you put it in there. It's like, make sure you grind it. So then you hit the grinder and you're grinding, add it to the pot, boil it for 1 turn. So you like turn a hourglass, and it's like, make sure you don't over boil it. So you're like literally doing everything to cook it. And then it's like, okay, now you decanter it, you put it in the bottle and you spin it. And then Henry will be like, oh, I think I overcooked this. So it'll be like a weak potion instead of a strong potion. So it's like, you learn the recipe and you learn the timing. And then by the 6th time I made that recipe, I didn't need the book anymore. I knew how to do it. So now I'm going faster and I'm grinding this while this is boiling. And you feel like you're cooking, like you're sharpening a sword, like you're cleaning yourself, like all these things. And the writing is just fantastic. They don't leave anything out. Like, in your mind, if you realize that you were nice to this person and maybe you need a favor from them, your character will say, like, he'll remember, and they'll remember, and he'll be like, hey, remember, I saved you, like, you're supposed to help me out, I gotta go find my dog. And he's all like, yeah, but this, and like, they have like everything that you do is like remembered and builds upon. So it's really interesting. Like, I am immersed in the game. I know Nurse Lyshi, she's playing, like, is also immersed in the game. Shout out to her in the community. It's just a life sim in 15th century Bohemia, and it is wild. It's incredibly beautiful. Like, you're in a town and it's all these buildings, and the it's not like a grid, like everything's in a grid in the Midwest. It's like, here's a house, then there's a house, then there's a house. This is more like, oh no, somebody built their house and then they decided to put their patch of land there, so they have a fence, and then that leads to a little winding road around a tree, and look, there's another house, and then here's a miller, and there's a river. The other day I followed a little stream. I'm like, I wonder where this goes. And all of a sudden I find myself just in a forest, and it's incredibly beautiful. There's plains and fields and and just horses and just all sorts of beautiful things everywhere you go, and just immerses you in this world so much. I'm very excited to play more and experience more of the world. It's crazy. Every choice kind of matters in it.
It sounds like it's a very much like a commitment, a long road game. Do you think you're going to have it in you to stick with it? Like, I mean, the end goal, obviously, you said, is to become a lord or whatever. But clearly, this is going to be like a multi-100-hour game, right?
Yes. People saying it's about 100 hours. I mean, I've done next to nothing in my first 5-6 hours, so I feel like I want to experience the systems. Like in the limited quests that I've done, it's like, oh, you're supposed to do this, and you start doing that thing. But then it's kind of like GTA, where like things go awry, and all of a sudden you have to shift gears, and you say, oh no, this person betrayed me, or I need to find this, and like the quest changes as you're doing it, because that's how life is, unpredictable. So like this person may flip the script on you. There's all these like mini games, like dice, and like different things you can do. There's like drinking, all sorts of things that mix things up. And everyone that I've talked to, all the word on the street is that the story gets so good and engrossing that it really pulls you along. The voice acting is amazing. Like the choices it gives you is so contextual. Like instead of just intimidating everyone around you because, oh, I'm going to have my intimidation stat up, it's like if you try to intimidate the wrong person and they're already a soldier, it won't work. It doesn't matter how high your skill is, because it doesn't make sense. They have armor and a sword and you don't. So unless you are, kitted out and you look stronger, then you will actually be intimidating. Unless you are clean and in nice clothes, you're not going to be able to convince someone that you belong where you belong, because you look out of place. It's just, the depth is incredible. The only thing that I say negative about it is when I find an NPC that you can't talk to, they just say like, hello. I'm like, oh, I wish I could talk to you, because everyone I can talk to is so fleshed out. Like I almost
so you can
think
kind of tell the
it's like this is a
people.
lesser NPC, and the game is so detailed that it almost feels like that is severely out of place. Almost like if they had unlimited budget, that they could make every single person in the world fleshed out. Once you find someone who's not, it's like, oh man, like I'm in a game again.
Right.
But if not, you're talking to somebody with all their emotions and their backstory and their it's incredible. The game part of it is very, it's so unique in that way. It's one of those just life sim death RPGs. Somebody said that they're picking up with the simulation aspect of RPGs that Bethesda left in the dirt and abandoned. And things like, you hear about these grand RPGs like a Starfield or a Cyberpunk, and they make all these promises about how immersive the world's going to be. I feel this game has achieved that by going back to the RPG roots, and the other ones kind of make big promises, and it's just not really there. So a lot of care went into this game. Warhorse Studios have a banger. They've sold like 1 million copies in a day. They've made all their money back. Like it's paid off for them. A brilliant game by all accounts. Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's a mouthful of a title.
Yes, it's a commitment of a game, but if you like this sort of thing, the sandbox in a very unique time period piece where you can learn a lot about how life was back then. They put spin on it, I'm sure, but just you're so immersed in the culture that it's very interesting. It's like visiting a brand new place.
One for the Renfest fans, for sure. This program is powered by Megadad's Boost, our public support program. You can join at patreon.com/Megadads. For over 10 years, Megadads has been bringing you the best in podcasts, reviews, interviews, family fun, and so much more. As an independent media organization, we rely on audience members like you to help support what we do, to ensure that Megadads can continue to bring you the great content that you enjoy. If you've been watching, listening, or playing along through the years, please consider lending your support by becoming a member of Megadad's Boost. Memberships start for as little as $1 a month, and you can start collecting your Boost rewards from day one. Rewards like art cards, early access podcasts, reviews, gameplay clips, and so much more. Please visit patreon.com/Megadads and become a member today. You can help us continue to make more of that Megadads coverage you've loved over the last 10 years well into the future by becoming a member of Megadad's Boost. And that sound means we've come to the end of this episode of Megadad's Live. It's The Caboose, where we give you a recommendation of something outside the world of video games that we think you might enjoy. And I've been dipping my toe into anime. So I want to talk about a couple of different animes that I've been watching. This is something that I used to be really big into in the 90s, and I've had a real struggle getting back into it, finding the right thing that clicks with me. And Netflix has a ton of anime. You've given me a couple of recommendations, and I've settled on two. One of which is a classic that I've never seen before, Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is a 90s era anime, which is like really, this is what I'm coming from. This is what I remember anime was, right? Really cool character design, really interesting story. I have 2 episodes left in the series. It does that very traditional 90s anime thing where it's like, here's a bunch of cute characters and they're funny and you like them, and all of a sudden they have to kill God. It's like, what the story just spirals into all sorts of heady shit, and I have no idea where this thing is going. But the first half of the series is like one thing. It's very character and action driven, and then the second half is all philosophical about man's nature with religion and ideology and stuff like that. Totally bonkers and exactly what I remember anime to be. The second one, I've only watched 1 episode of it, but I'm really hooked on the concept. It's called Sakamoto Days, and basically the idea of this is, what if John Wick but fat? So it follows this hitman who was like the greatest hitman of his day, and then he fell in love and retired and got out of the scene, and now he's this old fat convenience store owner. So like he runs basically a 7-Eleven, and the hit squad, the family of hitmen or whatever that he left from are trying to kill him. They're trying to catch up with him because you can't get out, right? You can never get out. And so this guy is just like, he never talks. He doesn't speak at all. He's this big, fat, old dude with a mustache that works in the 7-Eleven, and he's got to fight these hitmen that are coming after him. It's funny. It's super violent. It's new. And so like, this is as I'm tiptoeing into new anime. I love the idea. It's basically John Wick, but a fat dude. And so that's Sakamoto Days and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Both are on Netflix.
Excellent. I'm super fascinated because the creativity, right? The premise of these anime are like so wild, and you can't find fresh ideas like that in like traditional Western media. It's just always the same rote, like been there, done that. Mm-hmm. But like, where do you like just the fact that you coming up with such like deep, like crazy storylines in the setup? You can't get premises like that around here anymore. Like this
and it's weird. Like, where to go. There's like this character in this Sakamoto Days, and he's a hitman. He's a young hitman who idolizes the fat dude, and just for some reason he's telepathic. And they don't really get into it. It's just like, oh yeah, he can read minds. And it's like, what? Totally anime. What's up your caboose?
I'll do an anime as well. I think I brought it up before. Spy Family. Shout out to Vibrant V, who got me into it. And it, quick setup. It's 2 spies, and they are trying to hide out. And they're like, oh, I need a family to blend in. So, this guy and this girl, they end up bumping into each other, and conveniently they're like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I can I can blend in and have this family. And then she's like, I could get all my friends off my back and tell them that I'm, found love, so they would get off my back.
They're like using each other, and they don't know it.
They're using each other. And then the linchpin of it is the adoptive daughter, who's she's telepathic, and she reads minds, so she knows. She's like, oh, my dad's a liar. Like he so she's like, let me help him out because I think he needs help. And it's just like, it's funny and it's action packed and it's like zany in a lot of ways, and it's just fun, and just anime is just it's God's gift. This is great. I'm so glad that you're getting into it. Do you have Crunchyroll, or is it like, how do you watch your anime? Netflix type stuff?
Yeah, Netflix is basically where I've settled on right now. I mean, there's a lot of stuff everywhere, but I was really surprised by just the vast amount that Netflix has. Like, you can watch anime on pretty much any major streaming service, but Netflix has just a crap ton. I really want to get into Studio Ghibli stuff. Before we go to Tokyo, I want to make sure that we watch some of that, and I think that's all on Max, if I'm not mistaken. So again, streaming wars, you gotta have everything. You gotta go bankrupt subscribing to all these things. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's like with gaming, gaming was such a big part of my upbringing, and anime was a huge part of my life in the 90s, but I haven't touched it for decades. So it's fun going back. And that's going to do it for this episode of Megadads Live. We're so glad that you spent some time with us. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel right here at youtube.com/Megadads. Make sure that you join us in our community Discord. The link is in the description. We'll see you next week for an all-new episode of Megadads Live.